Hi, this is Personal SEO teaches how to use SEMRush and Sierra Interactive websites. So what we talked about before is how to connect SEMRush to um, Sierra Interactive and Google Analytics, and that's all done. And then I left the video with running a site audit. Now, in the site audits, I just kind of wanted to go through again that you need to make sure that you don't use the properties slash page under masks property search, and the reason being is that you don't want to include properties inside the site audit because it doesn't matter at that moment how many pages you can scan. If you scan 100,000, there's a ton of properties available, so you can't. So that's the whole issue. And there is the issue with SEMrush that if you just start a free trial, they limit you to 100,000. I mean, they limit you to 100 pages until you give them a credit card. So we just did 100 pages, and then I wanted to show an example of another site in our SEMrush platform where we've scanned, I think I set this to 1,000 pages, but I took out the property, and then you could see the 77% health. So obviously, the more pages you scan, it will increase the amount of errors that you have based on the fact that you're scanning more pages. So the errors are pretty much the same with this site and with this other site. So we could just use the one. Okay, so at 81%, you're pretty good with only the 100 pages scanned, or 97 of them. Obviously, when there are thousands more, the percentage is going to drop, which is what I just said. So when you click on it, it'll tell you how many errors you have, the warnings and notices, and the very first thing that I always want to focus on are the errors. And then it gives you a good list of what's going on. So 5 pages have duplicate meta description, 2 pages have duplicate title tags, and 2 pages have duplicate content issues. All of these need to be fixed for good foundational SEO. So in Sierra Interactive, go ahead and log in. And in SEMrush, and I tend to work this way where it's one tab or the other, or if you have 2 screens, then throw the SEMrush on another screen and then work on the right screen. That's how I do it. It tends to go a little bit faster. So 5 pages with duplicate meta descriptions, and oddly enough, it's almost the same pages as the other one. I think it just comes that way. So for example, the accessibility page doesn't, it's blank, or it was blank on the other account, and I'm assuming that since these two are matching, that it's just matching the blank. So under content and content pages, we find accessibility. And again, I'm all about copying and pasting, or not typing in the entire thing because I like to save time. Okay, so then just hit edit page, and again, I'm pretty sure that that's the reason why. There's just nothing there, and so now you know that the errors of a duplicate meta description, and that most of them are probably going to be blank. So what I do in this circumstance is I actually bring up the page. Oh, you could just hit view. That would be just better if you did that. So I'm bringing up the page, and then this accessibility statement is the same on all of the websites. This page technically should not be found in Google. We want actually to prevent the page from being found because this is all duplicate content across the board with every single Sierra client. It's really cool that they do this. However, it does count as duplicate content, so we'll make sure that we can hit no index. And if we can't, then that's a tech support issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy to our website, products and services. I'm just going to copy a quick sentence, go to the Sierra content, and paste it in the meta description, and then it's a statement. So I'm going to run the same thing, statement, and this page again, like I mentioned, is hurting SEO, so I'm flipping it to no index but follow, because I still want it to follow all the links on the page. I just don't want it to index this page at all. Then hit continue, and that's done. This needs to be done across the board on every single page. So Lake Home in Calgary, Again, I think you could just click that and it will take you directly to this page. But then again, you can't go from the front end to the back end. So it may be just a little bit confusing, but you always kind of want to view the page because you're going to be looking at it. So Lake Homes in Calgary. So I'm going to hit exit here. I'm going to hit continue again just because I'm nervous about it not saving. Saved. Okay. Then I'm going to hit exit. And then type in Lake Homes in Calgary. And then find that page. Did I spell it wrong? No. Well, it is a page. Maybe it's that. There we go. And then I'm going to hit edit page. I think this is the correct page, like front homes. It's not. Where is this page? Lake Homes in Calgary. That's not a blog. So if you're having issues finding the page, just keep looking for it. I guess that's the best way to say it. Why can't I find that? Lake Homes in. All right, so I'm going to pause this video for a quick second and talk to my staff and see why I can't find this page. Okay, now that we found that page, and some of the pages with this particular site, because they use sidebars over here, we didn't want to use Calgary one more time, so they may be a little bit harder to find. Going to a page and surfing them would be another way to do it as well. So Lake Homes is Calgary, Lake Homes in Calgary, which is this same exact page. So what we do in this circumstance for SEO is we'll go actually to the Lake Homes page. Okay, so the title of the page is going to be the meta title. We're also going to add that as the key phrase. And it was right before. So Lake Homes in Calgary. Take this and we copy this over in the meta key phrase keywords and then the description. So Lake Homes for sale in South Calgary, any real estate listings. That's kind of okay. There isn't a lot of content to grab off of this page, so we're just going to grab that content. What you would want to do, again, is make sure that the pages, the information you grab for the description is the same as the page. And I always tend to do that, Lake Homes in Calgary. And then you may think it looks like it's duplicate in the keyword field, but Lake Homes for sale in Southern Cal is technically a different key phrase set. So that would be that key phrase set, and then you would just hit continue and then exit. And then that takes care of both of these pages. And again, just to reiterate that the duplicate meta descriptions, both of them are blank. And so that causes that problem. The same thing with blog. We can go directly to the blog page. And we can right click here and view the page source and look for the keywords, which is blank, and the description, which is that. So this is normally set as the default phrase set. So if you're looking at Calgary, I on Calgary and go to that page, this is a different blog category. So what Sierra is doing is they're having the same exact category on both pages. Technically, you can make those category pages no index, and the reason why you would do that is because if you're looking at the category page directly, you're literally just like Ion Calgary and Calgary blog, you see you're duplicating the content. So technically these pages should be set to no index. There isn't any paragraph, there isn't any information. From one to the next, you can kind of see that you are duplicating things. What I would normally say is that this Ion Calgary, that should only be in this section and not in the major blog section. So that's something that may or may not be fixable based on the fact that you could see that all of these are sharing the same description. So again, you would set these pages, category pages of a blog, to no index. And that's how that's pretty much done. So I'm going to pull over this one, which has a little more errors. 71 pages with duplicate meta description, 54 pages over here. And so all of these pages, which I've been going through them, none of them have, these are all blank. And so if you run into a large set amount like this, there's probably one, the solution is forcing you to use the global setting and you haven't changed it specifically for each category, or they're blank. So that's just something to be aware of. The next thing are warnings, and this would be the same thing if I went to Lee Yusuf and then I went back to Site Audit and then clicked on warnings. It's the same thing. So issues are warnings. Okay, so the 194 issues of uncached JavaScript and CSS files, you cannot fix those. That has something to do with Sierra. Everything else on this page, however, can be fixed for the most part. 97 internal links are broken. So usually if it's that large, you see the common denominator, which honestly was the same exact thing on this side over here. The LinkedIn link is broken. And so once you fix the LinkedIn link, then you can, and then all 97 will shrink to the actual quote unquote broken links. So that is something to be aware of. Look for large swafting moves you can make with issues. I'm going to go back to issues again. Go to overview, then warnings. Loaded text HTML ratio is you have the amount of content on the website versus the amount of HTML code is off balance. So for example, the Ion Calgary, this is a pretty good, like I said, this is why we normally take categories and make them not indexable, because you have the code of the accessibility, you have all of the code to load all of the stuff in, the search code, unless you are adding a piece of paragraph content above it, make it no index, and that would also solve the low text HTML warning, low text HTML ratio. Too much text within the title tags. So all of these pages, you have too much text. So normally what you would do is you would erase some of the text within the title tag. So for example, if we pick on this page, the Calgary page, it'll actually tell you exactly how many you have 75 characters. So you would just need to shrink that down to 75 characters, and then you'll be fine just editing the title of that page. So again, if we go here and then Calgary acreage, I'm going to try and find this in the back end here. Content, all pages, Calgary acreage. All right, Calgary acreage and country. We hit edit. And I know that you're trying to save a lot of time with Calgary acreage and country, but the problem is that you are kind of duplicating Calgary acreage and country real estate dash homes for sale in Calgary acreage and Calgary and country. So what you would do is, normally what I would do is I would just erase that. However, Control Z. There we go. If you want to use them as key phrases, then you would highlight them over here, add a comma, and then highlight this over here, and then paste it. So then you're, so if you have Calgary country real estate and then homes for sale in Calgary acreage, that would be exactly how you would do multiple key phrases in this set, and at the same time you would shrink the title tag. This may be a little bit too short, but it's better than having a little bit more. If, for example, you wanted to erase just a little bit more. Just Calgary country real estate doesn't make sense to me, not unless that's an actual place. But I would normally just put in Calgary acreage for sale, and then end it with that. So for example, on just this one, I'm going to delete it, and then hit continue. So that will fix that too much text within the title tag. Back to overview and then back to warnings. Duplicate H1 tags. Usually these are titles, and so eye on Calgary. So what I would say is go back in and vary those just a little bit more. It'll actually show you the H1 tag, Ion Calorie Bridgeland. So you're linking to it, but you're linking to it in H1 tags, which you shouldn't be doing. Just change them to H2 or H3 tags, that's fine, but not H1. Images don't have alt attributes, so it's going to give you the image right here. So I'm going to go to the page. And then so this image doesn't have, or this one doesn't have an alt attribute. And we know that by, we can right click on the image and then hit inspect and then alt, a close-up of a sign. That would be what I would write for the title. And under alt text, I would have a little more keyword rich. So in other words, I would say South Trail Barbershop. And then for the title tags, I would have South Bottle Barbershop. So then here's this one, a hand holding a guitar. Is that even a guitar? That is the title. That is not the alt. So alt, you could put in keywords. Title, actually put in what the picture is. And then scroll down a little bit more, inspect, and alt, a group of people looking at a cell phone. Okay, these alt tags don't even make sense. So I would go in and fix the alt tags on all the pages that have an alt tag and then go from that point. If it's this image, and I'm looking for Ion Calgary Bridgeland. So everything seems to have a alt tag. So I don't technically know where that error is coming from, and it just might be a false positive, but that's kind of okay. So just go in and make sure that the alt tags are a little keyword rich, and title tags are the description of the image. Outgoing internal links contain a nofollow attribute. You should not be using nofollow at all. They may be doing that in the sitemap just to prevent Google from going to duplicate pages. This seems like this is a Sierra thing. In other words, I would just let it slide and not fix this at all. Just leave it alone. And it will go up based on the amount of pages you are scanning. 5 pages don't have a meta description, and 1 page doesn't have an H1 tag. So literally the privacy policy, you just go to the privacy policy itself, and under privacy policy, make one alt H1 tag, and then that fixes that. So a lot of these are fairly simple to fix. Notices, again, they're somewhat of the same issues of warnings. 47 pages have more than one H1 tag. You can fix these, but then again on the site, if these are H1 tags, then they are going to be always on every single page. So this is the section where, okay, try and fix them if it's specifically a page of content. So like for example, this is an H1 tag. We can inspect it. That's an H1 tag, and then I'm going to look for another header. I'm going to inspect this header. That's an H2 tag, but if it was an H1 tag, I would tell you to change it. And that's pretty much how you fix that. It's actually pretty simple. You just have to go in and do the things that it's telling you to do, and that will help with all of this. Around 80 to 90%, they want to get you, I think that's around 89%, 90%. It turns green and they say that you're good. I don't want you to focus a ton of time on fixing all of the stuff with the notices and warnings. I do want you, however, to fix everything in the errors and most things in the warnings. Mind you that there are some things that you cannot fix, such as uncached JavaScript and CSS files, but the rest of the items should be highly fixable. Notices, you can take it or leave them. So if you want this to be at around 90%, you have to fix all of the issues, and then once a month it will automatically rescan. So, and that is automatically set up. It's scheduled every Monday. So every Monday, every Tuesday, you'll wake up with an email that what the site was scanned, and then you'll see a bunch of new errors, especially on a site that content is always added. So that is a quick overview of the site audit and how to fix things in Sierra. So Personal SEO teaches how to use SEMrush and Sierra Interactive websites.